Well, hello there, guys and gals of YouTube world. It is Wednesday, September 29th in the year 2021. And if you're not doing it yet, you should be starting to fill out your spreadsheet or on paper what your net worth is. Remember that. Add up all of your assets and liabilities. If you do a spreadsheet, you'll keep track of each month. That's how I do it. I had a friend of mine make one, and that's what I do. So you got to start filling it out. So anyway, what I'm going to talk today is how to get started investing. There's a variety of ways to invest, okay? You may have heard me talk about a variety of ways to invest. So I'm going to start with what is probably the most well-known way that almost everyone's heard of, at least. May not all do it, which is investing in the stock market, okay? With investing in the stock market, I would say the majority of Americans who do invest have a 401k at their workplace. And it may be a 457 plan, it may be a 403b, it may be a TSP, thrift savings plan, if you're in the military. But the biggest one of them is the 401k, because a lot of employers will offer 401ks. Government workers might offer 457. 403b or TSP for military. Okay. And so with those, primarily the folks invest in the stock market. And what they're doing is they're investing in, usually they don't know what they're doing. Their plan administrator will give them some paperwork. They don't understand it. Maybe one of their coworkers will say, hey, I like this fund. And they pick a fund to invest. Some of the bigger ones might have age funds, like if you're 25 years old, they'll have a portfolio they model for you with some international stocks, some high growth stocks, some bonds, this and that, with a projected retirement date of such and such. Okay. If that's all you want to do, well, two things, or a couple things, I guess. That's the lazy man's way of investing, number one. 401ks have been proven to not create wealth for the majority of Americans. The average 401k balance is very, very low. Okay, so Americans just aren't, they're not participating. Or if they participate in the minimum, and they never learn how to invest. So branching off of 401ks, let's talk a little bit about index funds, because index funds is usually what's in a 401k and those other plans. Index funds, you can get them through a variety of companies. You can buy ETFs that are kind of like an index fund. But the company I like the best, and there's other companies out there that can do things good, is Vanguard. Vanguard was the company that started the index funds. Vanguard's the one that keeps their expenses, I believe, about the lowest of all the companies. They're extremely low. And my thoughts would be, if you're going to invest in an index fund, don't try to cherry pick your fund. Don't look at it and say, oh, in 2020, the health fund did the best, or in 2020, the technology fund did the best, or whatever it might be. My suggestion, because remember, I'm not a financial advisor, I'm not an attorney, I'm not a CPA, is stick with the S&P 500 index fund or the total stock market index fund. The majority of professional money managers cannot beat those funds on a consistent basis, okay? So if you're going to go with a fund, go with the index funds that match the market. S&P 500, 500 biggest companies in the United States. Total stock market index fund is all other companies. So, and I forget the number, but it's all of them, okay? Personally, I don't like that route either, because it's the lazy man's way to invest. Personally, I like to buy individual stocks. I'm not saying you do. If you are not extremely wealthy or that's not the right word. If you do not have a high paying job, if you're just an average government worker, you're just an average employee with 401k, I strongly will encourage you to look at investing in individual stocks, because you can beat the market, okay? The market being like the S&P 500 average, you can beat it. It's not that hard. The money managers, the fund managers can't, because they're managing billions or millions of dollars. You're the little guy. The little guy, we're nimble. It's easier for us to beat it, okay? Even though the experts will say that you can't beat it, because they don't want you to beat it. They want you to participate in their funds, okay? All right, but if you want to buy individual stocks, I'm going to tell you 3 different ways to do it, I think. Because you can always try to study the stock market. And I'm going to throw something out here. There are real estate investors who say the stock market is too hard. They hate the stock market. They prefer real estate, okay? But there are ways, and they say it's also too time consuming. One famous real estate investor with a YouTube channel will say 20 minutes a day to study your market for real estate. I guarantee you, if you take 20 minutes a day and study these things I'm going to talk about with stocks, you will become an expert at the stock market. It's not that hard. All right. There's a variety of ways to invest in stocks. Okay. And I've talked about these before. The first way I want to talk about is, what if you could buy high dividend paying stocks, some of the best dividend paying stocks? You have something that's called dividend aristocrats. Dividend aristocrats are companies that have increased their dividend for 25 consecutive years. 25 consecutive years. That may be older than some of you are alive. They have increased their dividend for 25 consecutive years. I just saw where McCormick, because I follow McCormick stock. I'm not recommending them. I'm just telling you this. They have increased their dividend for 97 consecutive years. That's a long time. It's rare that anyone lives beyond 97 years. Okay, but if you pull up the dividend aristocrat list, there's approximately 65 dividend aristocrats as of June 29th, 2021. In no particular order, if you Google dividend aristocrats, you can find this list. But they're usually companies you may have heard of, like 3M, Coca-Cola, Johnson & Johnson, Colgate-Palmolive, Procter & Gamble, Stanley Black & Decker, Hormel Foods, Target, Walmart, Pepsi, and on and on and on. There's 65 of them. McDonald's. They all pay a dividend. The dividends may range from 1 point something percent to 5 or 6%. Okay? If your money's in a bank account, what's it paying you? A fraction of a percent? So if you can get stocks that pay a dividend, these companies over time will go up in price, but they keep paying a dividend. So if you just keep feeding that dividend back into reinvesting it, you pick up more shares, your dividend grows, and you do it for a number of years, and you could become wealthy. Along with doing that, if you're going to go that route, it seems like I hear a boat or something out there, but if you're going to go that route, you might want to also, with part of your portfolio, invest in high growth companies. Okay, high growth. The easiest way to do this is go to the Motley Fool. I'm going to tell you 2 things about the Motley Fool, or a couple things about the Motley Fool. Go to the Motley Fool, look at your board. You may have to become a member, a free member. You don't have to pay. Sign up for a free membership. Look up Saul's Investing Discussions. You might be able to see that. Saul's Investing Discussions. On that board, and I'm looking at Saul's post from August 28th. He did a summary of his portfolio at the end of August. August 28th was probably last Sunday in August. He always does it on the final weekend of the month. He puts his portfolio, and a bunch of these people post their portfolio. He invests in high growth companies. What he does, let me back up just a minute. If you go to his board, I strongly encourage you to look at the right hand side, right where my thumb is right there, under announcements. You got something that says Newbie's Place to Start. Read it. Saul's Knowledge Base, 3 parts. Read them. How I Pick a Company to Invest in. Read it. Read those. Rules of the board. Read that stuff. Read it. Because there's so many new people. His board's getting kind of famous. There's so many new people come here and they'll get banned from the board because they violate the rules. Do not violate the rules. Before you post, read all those announcements. Okay? But if you start reading his board, you will learn a lot. But I'm not telling you to copy Saul. I'm not telling you to copy the other 15 or 20 folks that post their portfolios. But if they're putting their portfolios and they tell you what they buy during any month, and they tell you what they sell during any month, and they're getting returns that maybe are 100% for a year, 75% for a year, 300% for a year for the whole portfolio, maybe If you just kind of copy them, you can do pretty good. Okay? All right, moving on. At the Motley Fool, something I recommend even more, because using Saw's board, it's like you're letting the guys and gals on that board do the heavy lifting for you. You also have a service at the Motley Fool called Stock Advisor. Stock Advisor, David and Tom Gardner, the founders of the Motley Fool. This was they call it their subscription service. They started this service back in 2002. I became a member of it in 2005. 2005, I chose to buy Netflix stock twice during that year, and that's been a great stock for me. I still follow that service. Okay, it's a great service. It costs, I think, $199 a year. You might be able to Google a coupon and find it for $99 a year. What the two brothers do, they have teams now. It's just not just them individually. They have teams. The Tom team, the David team. Every month, they will pick. Each one picks one stock. It may be something they recommended previously. It may be something they've never recommended. They do a write-up on it. During the rest of the month, they also do they recommend what's called best buys. Their team looks at all the stocks they've recommended back from 2002, and they pick out their top 5 best buys. What they would buy if they have additional money, what they would invest in. So if you look at that, that's 12 stocks right there. Every single month, month after month after month, they're picking for you. The average person can't buy all 12 each month. There have been fools that will buy every stock that David and Tom recommend. So it's 2 a month. They'll put $500 in each one, $1,000 a month, $250 in each one. So it's $500 a month. And they've had great returns. They can usually get better returns than what the Fool gets, because when the Fool announces this, they can't buy those stocks for 48 hours, 72 hours. They got to wait a certain amount of time. So you might be able to buy it quicker than they do and get a better price, or maybe they get a better price. Who knows? All right. So it doesn't take a lot of time. Michael Zuber says 20 minutes a day. If you want to buy stocks, not even 20 minutes a day. You could get a great stock portfolio with a minimal amount of time. Okay? I'm going to wrap this video up, because if you followed my channel for a while, you will know I have invested in stocks for 30 plus years. But I have come to the conclusion in the last 5 years that a greater way to create wealth is by investing in real estate. That will be the next part in this series of investing. I will follow that with alternative ways to invest that I think may do better than real estate will do. Okay, but we'll talk about that in a future video, maybe part 3, or maybe there'll be more videos. The real estate one I may break down into several different videos. Okay? All right. Y'all take care. Stay safe. Keep smiling. My leg is slowly healing up, but I haven't been in the pool in a couple of days. I haven't been in my kayak in a couple of days, so I'm kind of chomping at the bit to get in the water. So I got some waterproof bandages at the store last night, so we'll see. I may get in the pool or go in a kayak later today. We'll see, but I don't want to get it infected. So y'all take care. Stay safe. Mazske is signing out.